Lakshman.
Yep.
Just a quick note, the sessions from 1 to 9, the videos recorded were very good. We were able to follow everything, and just a small request, since we get occupied in something else, so after the class, can you just share the videos right away so that we can go back and read it?
See. You will get videos from tomorrow after completing the session immediately. Okay.
From tomorrow.
Yeah, from tomorrow. I mean, today's session is going to be 10th session, right? That today's session also I'm going to upload in YouTube. To upload in YouTube, I have to do some edits, etc.
Oh, okay.
That is time. From tomorrow, after completing session, within 30 minutes, you will receive the video. I'll create the Google Drive. I'll create one folder in the Google Drive. I'll place all the videos. You can have a quick access from tomorrow.
That will be great. And thanks for this class. It's pretty going well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Fine. So in the last session, we just completed up to here, right? We have seen how to complete the primer ledger. We submitted on job called as review and to submit accounting configuration. Now we are ready with our primary ledger, legal entity, and all these setups, and our primary ledger also ready. Now we'll see how to create transactions by using our primary ledger. We'll create the transaction with our primary ledger. After that, as a first application, we'll start with the payables application. When you talk about sequence, first we'll start with the payables, then P2P cycle, receivables, O2C cycle, cash management, fixed assets, GL, visual tax, visual expense. This is a sequence we are going to follow. Now, so if you want to allow any user to have access to this primary ledger, we have to assign this primary ledger to specific user. That user is going to work on which application. That relevant roles also we have to assign to the user. Now, just to test how we can create the transactions by using our primary ledger, we'll assign GL roles to user. Say, assign GL roles to user. After assigning the GL roles to user, to the same roles and user, we have to assign our primary ledger. Assign primary ledger to user roles, you can say. User roles, nothing but what roles we are going to assign to the user. So we have seen the two roles which we have to assign to every consultant. Application implementation consultant, IT security manager. Now, when it comes to transaction creation, we have transaction creation roles as a separate roles. For every application, we have few roles. Now we are going to talk about GL roles. We're going to talk about GL roles. So for GL, payables, receivables, for every application, Oracle is providing the roles. What are the roles Oracle is providing? Those we call as seeded roles. The GL seeded roles. Okay, GL seeded roles. The same way for payables, we have seeded roles. Receivables, we have seeded roles. Okay, now we are not going to work on the GL application, but just to create the single transaction, I'll take you through this. Later, we will discuss everything detail level, application wise, and it would be more clear for us. Our target is by using our primary ledger, how to create the simple transaction. That's all. Now, GL roles we have to assign to the user. So, user will be able to create the GL related transactions. We'll see that. So, you know, from where we can assign the roles to users? From security console. Right, we'll go and assign the GL roles to same user. Reality, if any user is going to work on GL application, we'll create some separate user. Username may be X. For X, we'll assign the GL roles, so user can work on the GL application. Maybe user Y wants to work on payables application, we'll assign the payables roles. The user can work on the payables. Mr. G wants to work on receivables application, we can assign the receivables roles. The user G can work on the receivables application. This is how reality works. But here our practice purpose, instead of creating one more user, we'll assign the GL roles to same user. Whatever the user we are using for implementation purpose, you can assign the roles to the same user. From the same user, will be able to create the transactions within the GL application, general ledger application. Or else when you are practicing, you can create the separate user, and to that user, you can assign those roles, what we are going to assign now, and you can test. Anything is fine. Now, current user got access to only setup creation. Okay, no transaction creation at all. Fine. We'll see all those points. Yeah, I got some message from somebody. Yeah, I noticed it. Yes, it is going to be first session for you today. In the end of the session, we will talk few points. Yeah. So let's assign GL roles to our user. We assign the roles to our user. Go to Security Console. From Navigator, you have to go to Tools. Under Tools, we have a task called as Security Console. Go to Security Console. And go to Users. And find our user. The username is GMC. Click on display name or username. So to this user, only 2 roles are assigned. With this application implementation consultant role, you can do the setups. With IT security manager role, you can get access to security console. You cannot create any transactions being a GMC user. Okay, only setups and user creation. If you want to allow this GMC to create the transaction, that application specific roles we have to assign. That we are going to do now. We want to allow this GMC user to create the transactions within the GL, general ledger application. So click on edit to assign the roles. Click on add role. So for general ledger application, we have 5 roles. In some instances, Oracle is providing 3 roles only. In few instances, you can find the 5 roles. The 3 roles also will have a full privileges. If 5 are available, you can assign 5. If 3 only available, you can assign 3. 3 is equal to 5, 5 is equal to 3. Okay. So we will have one session on role customization. There I will show you in each role what privileges we have, how to compare one role with another role. There you will understand more detail level about roles. And I'll talk about what are the different type of roles we have and what is the difference between those type of roles also we'll discuss. For now, we'll see what roles Oracle is providing for GL application. We'll go and assign. Search with the term called as General Accounting Manager or Accountant. You can see the role called as General Accountant. And same you can see one more. General Accountant, General Accountant. What is the difference between these 2 roles? This is starting with ORA GL General Accountant. This is starting with GL General Accountant. These are the codes. Okay. ORA GL General Accountant job. That is a code name. This is also code name. So when you find the 2 roles with the same name where role code is different, always prefer to select which role code is starting with ORA. Okay, which role code is starting with ORA. Within this, all the privileges won't be available. GL. Certain concepts you cannot implement within the GL with this role. So always prefer to select which is starting with ORA. If 2 are available. If only 1 is available, whatever available, you can pick it. If 2 roles are available with the same name, always prefer to select the role which is starting with role code as ORA. Now we have to select this one. Okay, and one more point here. Here you can see the same role, General Accountant and Primary Ledger names. So these environments are upgraded from older releases to latest releases. In the older releases, what happens is the moment you create the primary ledger can be assigned to all the GL roles. That's how the logic were available in the older versions. Now they completely changed. In the latest releases, if you create primary ledger, you have to go and assign that primary ledger to GL roles. In the older releases, so there was a concept called as data roles. Data roles means the moment you create the primary ledger, for primary ledger, Oracle is providing the 5 roles. To 5 roles, system will assign the primary ledger automatically. This is how it creates. But you don't find anything for our primary ledger. In the latest releases, that concept is no more. There was an issue with that concept in the older releases. That is the reason they stopped. So in this environment, when this environment was older release, so that's how these data roles are generated. Now still those are appearing. This environment is upgraded to latest release. So that is the reason still it is displayed. Okay. But when you are working for your client, you don't see anything. Just when you search with a general accountant, you will find only 1 copy or 2 copies. If you find 1 copy, select as this which is available. If you find 2 copies, you prefer to select which is starting with ORA. These are the points we have to understand here. Any questions to get clarity here, please? If you find only 1, when you search for general accountant, if you search for only 1, select the same. If you find 2 with the same name, select always which is starting with ORA as a prefix in the roll code. Okay. In fresh instance, you don't find all these, the ledger names and all. Whatever you create, your ledger only will be there. That too, system is not going to create any roles with a combination of role name and your primary ledger name. This environment was upgraded from older releases to latest. The older releases, this concept was there. Whatever system created as a data roles, that system is displaying. Now these are no more. The latest releases. Fine. Select general accountant where roll code is starting with ORA GL general accountant. Select it. Now the same general accountant role somebody copied. We will see in our classes how to copy, how to modify, how to create the new roles from the scratch. We will discuss everything. Now somebody for their practice purpose, same role somebody copied. You can see the suffix as a copy, the role name. So don't touch this. They might have did some changes. This is a seeded one which Oracle is providing. You select it, click on add role membership, nothing but assign. Let's make a note of this role. When you practice for your reference purpose, you can use it. I'll share this sheet also. Okay. When you practice, you may refer this data and you can practice. Then one role we assign, that is general accountant role. Another role is general accounting manager. Here also you can see 2 copies with the same name, general accounting manager, general accounting manager. So the first one is starting with the GL general accounting and second one is starting with ORA GL general accounting. Always we have to prefer to select the second one. If you have a 2, is starting with ORA. Select. So this role also somebody copied. Ignore copied one. Select seeded one which Oracle is providing. So select this record. Click on add role membership. Add role membership is nothing but assign this role to user. Click on this. It is added. Make a note. And few other roles. Search for financial analyst. Okay. Financial analyst. The financial analyst role also, you can see 2 copies. One is starting with the GL, other one is starting with ORA. Always select ORA prefix role. So this role is not copied. Okay. Select save and click on add role membership. Make a note. And we have two more roles related to GL. If you find those roles in the instance which you are using, or else ignore them, no issues. Let's see in this environment. Okay, controller role. Role name is controller. Do we have two copies? No, only one copy we have. That is starting with the GL. Since only one is available, you can select as it is. Role name is controller. The role is belongs to which application, that you can see in the role code GL. Okay, by seeing control, you cannot understand this belongs to which application, but there is a clue within the code that is belongs to GL. That's how for every role you can see. Select, assign. Copy this. And one more is CFO role. Okay, Chief Financial Officer, CFO role. So here also you can see only one copy. Okay, Chief Financial Officer is role name, only one copy we have. We don't have two copies. If you have one copy, the same you can select as this. So CFO role, assign. In some instances, when you practice, you may not find these roles. If you don't find, you don't need to worry about. What we have in these two roles, that information is available in these three roles itself. Okay, what are the privileges these two roles can provide? Those are part of these three roles also. That's how we have. If you provide access to these three roles to the user will be able to work on all the GL related features within the general ledger application. What functionalities, what features, or what privileges we have, all the user will be able to perform. Now we assign these 5 roles to the user, but we are not going to work on what we have in the GL. When we are dealing with the GL concepts, we will see as of now our target is understanding which roles we have for GL, how to assign. And we are going to test how to create the simple transaction by using our primary ledger within the GL application. That's all. Done. Now to these 5 roles, we have to assign our primary ledger. Okay, these are the empty rows. Through these rows, our user should be able to create the transactions by using our primary ledger. Okay, so assign primary ledger to user roles. Assign primary ledger to user roles. Here, one point we have to understand. We created chart of accounts, and against the chart of accounts, we created chart of accounts structure instance. The instance only we can use. In the same way, in the general ledger application, we created our primary ledger with the name called as GMC USA primary ledger. Okay, this is our primary ledger name. When you create the primary ledger, the moment you complete your primary ledger, system will copy your primary ledger as this. System will copy your primary ledger as this as data accessor. What are the primary ledger we created? The moment you complete, this is a triggering point. The moment you complete your primary ledger, the same primary ledger, it will make a copy and the name it will assign as a data accessor. That means we have to understand against our primary ledger, system will create data access set. Now the data access set only you can assign to all these roles. All these roles you can assign the data access set only. If you want to assign your primary ledger you can assign to these 2 roles. If you want to assign the data access set you can assign to all the roles. So your data access is nothing but copy of your primary ledger only. Okay, your copy of primary ledger is data access set. Now what we are going to do is we are going to assign data access set to our GL roles. Data access set is nothing but here copy of our primary ledger. This is what we have to understand. So here I am taking the task name as assign primary ledger to user roles. These are the 5 roles we assign to the user. That is the reason these roles we are calling as user roles. To these 5 roles, we are going to assign our primary ledger. Reality system point of view, we are going to assign the data asset, but the data asset is created by copying our primary ledger. Same name also it will take for data accessor. So you can call it as assign primary ledger to user roles, or you can call it as assign data access to user roles. Both are true. Okay, you can call with any name. Reality, we call it as assigning primary ledger to user roles. We created primary ledger. System created data access automatically the moment you complete the primary ledger. Now we completed this task. Assign GL roles to user assign. We assign these 5 roles to our user. Now to these 5 roles, we'll go and assign our primary ledger, or you can call as a data accessor. We'll go and see how to assign. We completed these assignments. Say save and close. Assignments need to be saved. Don't cancel. What we assign, system will remove. Done. Now what we want to do, we want to assign the primary ledger to user roles. To complete this task, you can go to your implementation project, or directly from search page also you can do that. Okay, this setup you can do from the search page also. So which setups you can complete from the search page? Anyone? What kind of setups you can complete from the search page? Global search.
Global search.
What kind of setups?
Geography, load geographies.
No. Yeah, that is true. The task names are true, but what kind of setups? What type of setups? For which setups, scope selection is not applicable, right?
Calendar.
Yeah, no, simply, yeah, no need to give the names. Point is, for which setups, scope selection is not required. Those setups you can complete from global search page. So you are going to set ledger options. If you want to set ledger options, you have to select the ledger, right? That is a scope selection. But in the search page, you cannot select the scope. That means for which setups scope selection is mandatory, those you cannot complete from search page. Remaining all you can complete from search page itself. Or else you can create everything, you can complete any setup from your project. Okay. You can navigate from here, or else you can navigate from your project. This task you can perform from the search page or from your project. Let's complete this setup from here itself. The task name is data access for users. What is the purpose of this task? To assign our primary ledger to user roles, to GL roles. We need one task. The task name is data access for users. Here you can see the task name. Manage data access for users. Click on manage data access for users. Here, let me ask one question. Who are from EBS background? Who are not from EBS background, ignore this point. So how do we assign our primary ledger to responsibility in EBS? Could be 11A or R12. How do we assign? How to assign our primary ledger to responsibility in EBS? Anyone, please?
No security profile.
Primary ledger to responsibility. By using the profile option, GL ledger name profile option, right? By using the GL ledger name profile option, we can assign our primary ledger to GL responsibility in EBS. Equal to that, we are going to complete this task. Okay, this task is equal to that. So how to assign our primary ledger to GL roles? We'll see. In EBS, we assign our primary ledger to responsibilities, but in the Fusion, we assign our primary ledger to roles. Here, there is no responsibility concept. In Fusion, we don't have a responsibility concept. We have a roles concept of it. Somebody is from EBS background, you can take this point, otherwise ignore it. Others ignore it. Fine. Let's see how to assign our primary ledger to GL roles for this user. So task name is what? Manage data access for users. By using this task, you can assign our primary ledger to user roles. So click on manage data access for users and click on create. Select our user. Our username is GMC. Just type the name and select. To our user, how many roles are assigned? Only those roles you can see here. You don't see the roles which are available in this instance. The roles which are assigned to GMC, those roles only you can see here. So far, how many roles we assigned to this user? Total, how many roles we assigned?
7.
7. The 7 only you can see. Okay, at the time of user creation, we assigned the 2 roles, application implementation consultant and IT security manager. In today's session, just now we assigned 5 GL roles, total 7. You can see only 7 here. Click on drop down. You can see the application implementation consultant, IT security manager, rest of 5 are belongs to GL application. To work on GL, these 5 roles are used. These roles purpose already we discussed. Now, we no need to assign our primary ledger to application implementation consultant and IT security manager roles, because in those roles you cannot record the transactions, only for setup purpose. Now we have to assign our primary ledger to GL roles only. To these 5 roles we have to assign our primary ledger. Let's assign one by one. Okay. So first select CFO role. Security contest. What do you want to assign to this role? What do you want to assign to this role? We want to assign primary ledger. Here you can select ledger. Okay. I can assign ledger, our primary ledger, to this role. Fine. Now I will select controller. Here ledger is available. I can assign ledger. I will select financial analyst. You have ledger here? No. You have data access set only. I'll select general accountant. I have data access only. I don't have ledger. General accounting manager. I have data access. I don't have ledger. For everything you have a data access set. That means assign data access set only to all the roles. Okay. So ledger you can assign, but only limited roles. Data access you can assign to all. That is the reason assign data access to all the roles. Okay, select one by one. So I'm selecting general accounting manager role and select security contest. Security contest means what you want to assign to this role. What you want to assign? Data access set. So system already created data access set with the same name. If you want to see, we can go and see. Whether system created data access set with our same primary ledger name or not, you can check. I opened one more tab. You can go to project or you can navigate to search page. Let's navigate to global search. Search for one task called as data access set. Task name is manage data access sets. Search with our primary ledger name. You can find our primary ledger here as a data access set. Search. So GMC USA primary ledger. We never created it. System created. Okay. See, this primary ledger who created, that system is showing as GMC. Don't think from this user this is created. How this got generated by system, you can see. Just click on the same name, how it is created by system, you can understand. So you can see here, this is a system generated data access set and you cannot edit it, edit or update. You cannot update it. Okay, this is system generated data access set. The moment you complete your primary ledger, system creates this data access set. It is taking our primary ledger name as a data access set name. The access set type is full ledger. Entire ledger access system is taking for this data access set, and it selected our chart of accounts calendar, and it is selecting our primary ledger name as default primary ledger name. This is our primary ledger. The all values access, read and write, full access to our primary ledger. It means it's a copy. Okay, it's copy of our primary ledger. Now go to this task. So we are going to assign our data access set to our role. Okay, general accounting manager role. Search for GMC. So GMC USA primary ledger, select it. So click on add. Select our user. Select another role, general accountant role. So data access set. So GMC USA primary ledger. Again, click on add. Select user as a GMC. Select another role, financial analyst. Data access set. We are assigning the data access, that is nothing but our primary ledger. It's a copy of primary ledger. Assign. Click on add. Select user. The next role is controller. So here ledger also available, but don't go with the ledger. Select data access set. PMC USA primary ledger. Now you can click on add, or else you can click on duplicate. You can click on duplicate. The current record will be duplicated. We can change the values so that you don't need to select the username. Okay, this current record you can copy as this, and you can change the role name, etc., etc. It's copied. User is same. Next role is CFO. Select data access set. GMC. Okay. So you can click on add, or else you can click on duplicate. Okay. First, initially you have to click on add and you have to create. Once you complete mapping, you can click on duplicate so that you don't need to select user. Complete record, it will be copied. Username is same. You can change the role and you can select the security contest and you can select the value. Right. So this is all about role assignments. To this user, to this role, we are giving access to this primary ledger. Say save and close. Don't assign anything to application implementation consultant role or IT manager role. Even if you assign, there is no use. Those roles for the purpose of setups of user management. Any questions? Somebody unmuted. Please make sure that you are not unmuting by mistake.
I just want to add one question.
Please.
Suppose yesterday I was just looking in the class. Suppose we don't have an implementation project. The client is only implementing general ledger. So then what happens to this scope, and also still can we do the same kind of setups, primary ledger and everything?
Yes, primary ledger is required. You don't need to create legal entities and all.
So there is no project. So if you would navigate to the implementation project, that's blank.
Yeah, still see, your client is implementing only GL. No issue.
Yes.
You can add, you can go to offerings, enable financials. When you enable financials, GL application will be enabled by default. You don't need to enable, right?
Okay, yeah, correct.
So enable finance, add financials offering to your project, create project. You are using Fusion, right? Maybe general ledger, no issues. Create implementation project, add financials, do only GL setups.
Okay.
Okay, and assign this GL roles to user and you can start working on GL. You don't need to create legal entity and all. Legal entity you cannot use in the GL application, only in the ledger applications. Other than GL, what are the applications we have? In those applications only you can use the GL application, legal entities.
Okay.
That's what we have to know. Fine. So we assign roles to user, and to the roles we assigned our primary ledger. Now, after assigning these roles to user and the primary ledger to the user roles, you have to submit one job. So when you assign the roles and when you assign this primary ledger to those roles, within the navigator, system should display the general accounting. It is displaying. If you click on that, within that it is showing the task. Why it is displaying? Within that role, we have access to general ledger application. General accounting means general ledger. So sometimes you don't see this general accounting under these tasks under general accounting. So in those scenarios, we have to submit one job. Okay. But ideally, it's recommended that you submit the job so that these things will get synchronized immediately. Okay. What you can do is, now luckily it is showing, otherwise it takes time to display. So when we assign the roles, and to the roles after assigning primary ledger, you have to run one job called as LDAP. Run LDAP job. LDAP we call. LDAP stands for Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. So what are the roles we are assigning to the users, and to the roles what are the primary ledgers we are assigning? This information need to be updated in the directory services. Okay. Directory services. In Fusion, we have a directory services related to security. This information need to be updated. Once the information is updated, then only as a user we can get access to the role related privileges under the primary ledger. So if you are able to see here, okay, but immediately you don't find this access. So it will take time to update. If you don't submit this job, automatically system can complete this job by taking time. See, now we are not able to select our data access. That means that is not synchronized. It is showing, ideally it doesn't show also, it is showing, but it is not allowing us to select our primary ledger. No use. So to update all these in the directory services, you have to run this LDAP job. If you submit LDAP job, so everything, these two setup related information will be updated in the directory services, so that as a user, you can have access to our primary ledger to create the transactions within the GL. So we'll go and run this job. Okay, we'll go and run this job. How to submit this job? One thing is you can navigate from the navigator. So here, what you can do is, one second. You can just go to navigator. Navigator, go to tools. Under tools, you can go to scheduled processes task. From scheduled processes, you can submit the relevant job. Okay. From here, you can click on schedule new process. And here you can search for LDAP job and you can submit. Otherwise, if not from here, from your project itself, you can submit. You can go to your project. Expand it. Expand this folder. Here we have one task list. Okay, this we call as a task list. It contains as a folder option means task list. Here we have a task list called as define synchronization of user undo roles from LDAP, LDAP we call. So from here you can submit the task. This is the task name. Run user undo roles synchronization process. Okay, you can submit. Or else from the navigator also you can submit. Just click on go. Just click on go. What is the job name? Retrieve latest LDAP changes. The job system will run. If system will run this job, what happens? It will synchronize users' roles and role definitions in LDAP. Means to the user what roles are assigned to the roles what primary ledger is assigned, this information it will update automatically. Okay. The job name is retrieve latest LDAP changes. Just click on submit. This is not user specific. This job runs at entire instance level. Within the same instance, say I'm just submitting the job. Same time you created your user, you assigned the roles, you assigned your primary ledger to your user. I submitted, you no need to submit. So this process will check all the users roles assignments and to the roles what primary ledgers are assigned, everything it will update. Now you can go to the same page to check the status of the job. Go to tools, click on scheduled processes. You see the job is running here, refresh, you can see that. It's running, see. Retrieve latest LDAP changes. From our project we submitted, okay, this is a window to monitor those jobs. It is running, the status running. When you submit this, you may wait for 2 to 3 minutes and you can go and check if you are not able to access to GL related pages, you have to wait till this job status will turn into succeeded. Submit this job and wait for 2 to 3 minutes, then you can proceed. Okay. From project you can submit, or else from here also you can submit. From here also you can search for this job. Retrieve latest LDAP changes, you can search and you can submit. We'll see that later again when we assign the roles, etc. Next time we'll submit from here itself. You can understand how to submit from here also. Now we submitted from our project. There is a separate task. By using the task, we submitted. Any questions on this point, please?
So we can see this task in setup and maintenance page as well, right?
Yes, that's what we did just now, right? Okay, from project, or else from search page also you can find it. Okay, you can go to search page, from there also you can find it.
Note here, so that FSM page, we can see that.
Yep. Run user undo role synchronization process. From here you can submit.
Yeah.
Same job. Or else this you can do from submit from schedule process page. Under tools, go to schedule processes. Click on schedule new process. Search for this job. Okay, retrieve latest LDAP changes. You provide this name here and use tab, it will fetch the job name. Wait for a moment, it will fetch. Meantime, we will just monitor this. Still it is running. Just wait for 2 minutes, that's all. After submitting the job, okay, wait for 2 minutes. You don't need to wait till the status will turn into succeeded. Wait for 2 minutes and we can go and check. If you are not able to access to our primary ledger, then we can come back to this page and we have to wait till this status will turn into succeeded.
Actually, it would take 10 minutes to complete.
It depends. You cannot say 10 minutes. In some instances, it will complete within 1 minute or 2 minutes, 10 minutes or 20 minutes. How much load we have, the update related load related to users, assignments, updates, etc. Okay,
Okay.
there's no fixed time.
Okay.
Yeah. No need to wait till the status will turn into succeeded. Just wait for 2 minutes and try. If it is not working, again wait for 1 more minute and it will work. Otherwise, log out and log in. It will work in the most of those scenarios. You see here it is fetching the job. Okay, from here also you can submit. Say okay. Submit. Now, if you submit, it will lock it. Already we submitted. We are running this, right? Already we are running here. Now again we are submitting. It's blocked. Already it's running, right? That is the reason it's a block. When you see the status as blocked, understand some other user is already running this. You no need to run. That means. Yeah. Now we submitted, we waited for more than 2 minutes. Now what you can do is you can sign out and sign in and we can go and check. Better you can sign out and sign in, but not mandatory. When you sign out and sign in, it will establish the new session. It will fetch all the updates. It will take automatically so that you will see the impact immediately. So VMC. Yeah. Please go on mute. It's a request all the time. If you have questions, you can unmute and you can raise your questions. Otherwise, please make sure that you are not unmuted. Now go to general accounting. Why we are able to see the general accounting here? Because we assign GL roles to this user. Okay, we assign these 5 GL roles to this user. That is the reason we are able to see general accounting within the navigator. Otherwise, you don't find general accounting within the navigator. So just expand it. Okay, now we are able to see all the tasks. Within the general ledger application, if you want to create the transactions, first we have to open the GL periods. Say, open GL periods. Okay, we have to open the GL periods. After opening the periods, we'll be able to create the transaction. The current month is August. If you want to create the transactions in the August month, we have to open the August period. Okay, if you want to create the transaction in the August month, August period should be open for GL so that you will be able to create the transactions within the August month. Now we'll see how to open the GL periods. So go to navigator. The navigator, you can see general accounting section, expand it. Under general accounting, go to task called as period close. The same task we can use to open the periods and to close the periods. For both purposes, we can use the name they given as a period close. But as of now, we are going to the task to open the periods. Every month end, we have to close the period. Say we are in the August month end. When we are moving to September month, August month you have to close, then September month you have to open. When we are in the end of the September, you have to close the September and you have to open the October. This is the process we follow. If you don't close the August month, when you are moving to September, the users may record the transactions in the August month when they are in the September month. So we have to restrict the users not to enter the transactions in the previous periods. That is the reason always we have to close the previous periods and we have to open the current period to enter the current period transactions. So that's what we have to do in the system. This is applicable for all the applications, not only GL, payables, receivables, and other applications also. So click on period close task. Just click on period close task. Just click on period close task. And here is our primary ledger. Okay, this user got access to our primary ledger, nothing but data accessor. So this user got access to GMC USA primary ledger. And when you look at the current period is August 22. It is fetching the current period based on my system date. Okay, system date belongs to August. It is fetching the August period. That's all. Fine. Now, we are talking about general ledger application. For general ledger application, August period status is never open. Never open. Now, click on this never opened status. Click on that never opened status. Just click on it. Now, it is asking us, do you want to open Jan 22 as a first period? Yes, as per our accounting calendar, within this primary ledger, we selected our accounting calendar. In our accounting calendar, the first period is Jan 22. We created from the Jan, our accounting calendar. So if you want to open August month, prior to August, whatever the periods you have, all you have to open. If you want to open all, first you have to open the first period within your calendar. In our accounting calendar, the very first period is June. We have to open the first period first. Say okay. Open first period, yes. So this action will open the first period in our ledger. In our ledger means in our ledger we have accounting calendar. In that accounting calendar, it will open the first period. Do you want to continue? Yes. Okay, it's submitted process. You can go to schedule process page and you can see also. Not required. Just click on refresh. It will update the status here. Click on refresh. Once our first period is open, it will show. The June period status is, you can see here, open. Status you can see open. Automatically system is showing the next period also. Next period is Feb. And what is the status? Future enterable. Okay, how it is taking next period as future enterable? In our ledger options we have, once you open one period, the next period status should be future enterable. That's how we have option in the ledger options. How many future enterable periods you require? By default, system takes one. That is the reason next period is future enterable. Now here we have to understand the period statuses. These are the different statuses for our periods. Open, closed, permanently closed, future enterable. What is the meaning of these period statuses? It's very important. We have to understand. The same statuses are applicable in all the applications. Say period statuses. Say period statuses. So what are the different statuses we have? Open, future enterable, and closed, okay, permanently closed. So these are the period statuses. Open, closed, permanently closed, future enterable. What does it mean by these statuses? If period status is open, you can create the transactions. You can create the transactions and you can post them. Posting nothing but processing the transaction to update the balances. If period status is open, you can create the transactions and you can process them. Nothing but posting. How to do the posting and all, we'll see. We'll create transaction and we can understand. Take these points. We can create the transactions in that period as well as we can post them. Posting is nothing but processing the transaction. If period status is future enterable, please go on mute. Shafi, please. If period status is future enterable, you can create the transactions, but you cannot post them. If you are not able to post, means if you are not able to process the transaction, there is no use of the transaction in the system. If period status is closed, you cannot create transactions. When you can't create the transactions, there is no point of discussing about posting. You cannot create the transactions. If period status is permanently closed also, you cannot create the transactions. But what is the difference between closed and permanently closed? If period status is closed, you cannot create the transaction. If period status is permanently closed, yes, you cannot create the transaction. The difference between these two is, if period status is closed, you have an option of reopen. You can reopen. You can reopen the period. When you reopen, you can create transaction, you can. If period status is permanently closed, you cannot reopen. That is a permanent. Okay, you cannot create transaction, you cannot reopen. Ideally, it is not recommended to reopen the periods once we closed, and we never update the period status as a permanently closed. Okay, when we are just working on the system, so we open the period, the client team will enter the transactions, end of the month, we close that period and we'll open the next period. When we close, we have to do the period end activities. There are certain things which you have to perform. But once we start working on the applications, we'll come to know. When we are working on payables, I'll take you through how to close the payables period. So directly system won't allow you to close the period. Certain things you have to fix, then only system will close. There will be period closing, period close exceptions, etc. This all we'll discuss. Now just try to understand the purpose of these statuses. These we can call as controls also. Okay, period status controls. If the status is open, create and post. Status is future enterable. You can create, but you cannot post. When you can post, when you arrive that period. So now take example, the current period is, period John is open. You can create the transaction John and you can post them. You can create the transactions in the Feb also. But if you want to post them, the Feb status should be open. When you open the Feb period, you will be able to post them. Till the time you can create the transaction, but you cannot post them. So that's what you have to understand. Any questions to understand these points, please?
Sir, what is meant by post?
We'll see in the system. Post means updating the account related balances. I'll create one transaction in today's session itself. You can see and understand. Yeah. By seeing, you can understand that. Posting means processing the transaction. When you process, the balances can be updated. How exactly you will see. For now, just remember that one. Any other questions?
Can we open multiple periods at one time?
Yes, we can open the multiple periods, but reality, we don't keep multiple periods open, and always we'll try to close the previous periods as a best practice. Yes, we can open multiple periods. Now we are going to see the same. Why we are going to open multiple periods means the first period as per our accounting calendar is Jan. If you want to open our current period August, so till August you have to open all the periods, then only you can open the August. Okay. So if I want to open the Feb without opening Jan, I cannot open the Feb. If I want to open the May period without opening previous periods, I cannot open the May period. So that's all. If I want to open the current period August, all previous periods you have to open one by one, then only the period will be open. Any other questions, please?
Sir, if we reopen this closed period, the system allow us to change anything?
Sorry?
If we reopen this closed period again,
Yes.
the system allow us to do any changes?
If period status is open, what you can do?
We can do create and post.
Yeah, same it will allow you.
Okay, okay.
That is the purpose we reopen.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Fine. Let's open the current period. Now you can open one by one. See, for example, I can select Feb. When I select this Feb, it is enabling the tab called as open period. I can click on open period. I can open the Feb. Refresh. It will update the status whether Feb period status is open or not. So wait, it will update. Yeah. The Feb period status is open. Now next period status is future enterable. Okay. Now if you want to open Feb, March, you can select and you can click on open period. Instead of opening one by one, what you can do is go to actions. Here select open target period. Our target period is August. Select open target period. Select August. If you select August, if you say open, it will open March, then April, May, June, July, then finally it will open August. Automatically system will take care of the sequence of opening the periods. I am telling to the system open target period called as August. The prior periods all it will open in the sequence, finally it will open August. Say open. So yes, see here the action will open periods up to target period. Refresh. Now you can see all periods are open up to August. So this is how you can open the periods. The previous periods, if you want to close, you can select, say, close period, so that the users are not allowed to enter the transactions in the previous periods. Refresh, it will update the status as a closed. Now we don't have transactions in the periods. That is the reason easily you can close it. But when we have a transactions, we have to perform certain activities. That we will discuss once we start working on the system. Once we have a transactions, when we are closing, opening the periods in payables, receivables application, we'll talk about. Now,
Even we can close all the periods
it's
at a time.
closed. Sorry?
Even we can close all the periods at a time, like we open.
No. So we have to close one by one.
Okay.
See, that's the reality. Every month end you close that month period only. Yeah. So this is how you can close all the previous periods. For our practice purpose, not required. The reality, we just close all the previous periods. So we'll make sure that only current period is open. So any questions on this point, please?
When two periods are open, sir, this is Srinivas Rao. When two periods are open and while entering the transaction, for every transaction, should we select the respective accounting period?
What system will do is, when you create the transactions, always system will select the latest open period.
Okay.
If I take your example, say this July and August periods are open. Never do like that. Since you have a case they are discussing, the July and August period, two periods are open. When I'm going to create the transaction, system will pick the latest period. Which is the latest period in this two?
August.
August it will be. That's all.
Okay. Thank you.
If you want to change to July, yes, you can change.
Okay.
Yeah. Transaction creation you want to do in July month, yes, you can change period name and you can record the transaction. Possible.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, yeah, is the period based on the date of the transaction or like depends on like the latest period?
Latest period. Whenever you create the transactions.
Suppose that we have taken the latest period like July and August is open, and the date we given is 15th of July.
No. 1 second. It is not like you give the date and all. Before you give the date, it will display the period. Yeah. So it won't give you the option for us to choose first date and all. Whenever you go to any page to create the transaction, as per your accounting calendar, okay, or else as per your primer ledger, which is the latest
As per the date.
it will fetch.
Sure.
Yeah. Later you can change the period and you can change the date and all. That's all. Any other questions here, please?
So if we have a transaction that we have to create, say for example, in the month of December, that month needs to be opened first, right?
Yes, exactly. But remember, now we are in the August. There is no need of creating the future transactions, right?
Yeah, of course. But suppose if there is a need or that we want to create one entry for the month of in the month of December that we don't want to forget and we want to process the
you cannot create. There may be need, but generally there won't be any need. That is the reason they are not giving the option. So in
but in the prepayment we post, right?
One second. One thing you can do, say you want to create transaction in the December. Now, how many future enterable periods it is taking? One, right?
Only one, yeah.
Only one. Now, you can go and set future enterable periods as a 4 or 5. Say 5 you can set. And ledger options you can set. If you set 5, after current period, 5 more period status, it will turn into future enterable. Okay, September, October, November, December. 4 periods only you will arrive the December, right? So since
Right.
the period status would be future enterable, you will be able to create the transaction, but you cannot post until unless that period is open status. Yeah, you cannot process it, but you can create. By setting the period status as a future enterable, you will be able to create the transactions in the future periods also. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll go and see where we have future enterable periods in our ledger options. Go to our implementation project. Go to task called as specify ledger options. Choose second one, first one related to secondary ledger. That is separate concept. When we work on GL, we'll see that concept. The second one you can choose. Click on go to task icon. You see number of future enterable periods in our primary ledger is selected as a 1. That is the reason only one period is reflecting here. If you select 3, okay, next 3 periods it will show as a future enterable. That's how it works. From here it is reflecting this 1. Yeah. So that's all about period statuses, or you can call as a period controls. This is how the periods within the period, what are the transactions we are going to enter, those can be controlled. The period statuses can have a controlling the transaction. If it is closed, you will have a control of not allowing the transactions entering that period. The period status future enterable, you can create, but you cannot post process. So the rest also we discussed. Okay. So that's all about the period statuses and all.
Is this period is also linked to the budgets, etc.?
Yeah, you can use the same periods for budget, or else you can create separate calendar for budgets also. In Fusion, that is possible. In EBS, we use the same, but in the Fusion, so you can have a for budgets separate periods, or else you can use the same periods. That we have to specify in the budget definition time.
Okay, because yeah, at that time of budget, I think you may have to open all the periods once to.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, same period we can use. The same periods you can use for budget, but for budget purpose, again, we have to open those periods separately. Yeah. Here, whatever the statuses we have, those won't reflect in the budget definition. We'll see detail level when we work on the budget.
Okay.
Yeah, we will discuss.
For prepayment entry post, so that will be like a future period, right? So can we post the transaction in future?
We can create the transactions in the future periods, but we cannot post. When we can create the transactions in the future periods, if the period status is future enterable. If the future period status is future enterable, you can create the transaction. Now, as of now, what you see in the screen, August period is current latest open period. You can create the transactions and post up to August. September period, if you want to create the transaction, you can create, but you cannot post. The October month, if you want to create the transaction, not possible. The October month is not displayed here. That status is not future enterable at all. The status will be never open. No status is applicable for that. Yeah? That's how it works. Now, if you want to close any periods permanently, see here, I'm going to select, for example, August month. If I go to actions, it is showing permanently closed is disabled. When you can close the period permanently, first the period should be closed, then only you can close permanently. Now take example of John. The period status is already closed. If the period status is closed, that you can close permanently. Select it. Go to actions. Now permanently closed checkboxes. The option is enabled. You can close it. But we never do that. It's not at all recommended to do permanently close. Generally never do that. Just for our discussion purpose, we're trying to do this.
So we cannot reopen a permanently closed period.
Yes. Only closed periods you can reopen. Permanently closed means permanently closed. Our status is permanently closed. Now I want to reopen. Select this John. See, open tab is not displaying. If I go to actions, so nothing is displaying. Open period is not displaying. If I go to this Feb period status is closed only. If I want to reopen, yes, open period is enabled. If I go to this, open is not applicable.
So when we close the financial year, will they become permanently closed?
No, no. You have to set for each and every period as a permanently closed.
Okay.
See, when we are closing the financial year means each and every period you are closing, that's all. You reach
Okay.
end of the year, financial year. That is the meaning of closing the financial year. Okay. Year end you will do certain additional activities and you close that.
So we are doing the consciously, if we are deciding that we have to close it permanently, that means we are consciously,
No.
somebody has to go and.
No. We never close period permanently.
Okay.
It is not at all recommended. If somebody wants to do it, let them do.
Sir, can we restrict the permanently closed access to certain people?
Certain people know. See, these access and all ideally consultants can have this period statuses. We don't give it to the business users.
Yeah, suppose the company is small and they don't want the supporting consultant. So then we need to give to the user, right? Manager
Yes.
or something like that. So
Yes. So we can customize the role and you can remove that certain privileges and you can do that. That very granular level you have to do. Possible. Anything is possible, which you are able to do to restrict those, that is possible. But companies that much small, they don't use these fusion applications. Okay, they have to follow certain practice. Basically, consultants only do this. Otherwise, in the specific department, maybe like senior accountants and all, they can do this activity. People who are just responsible to record data entry and all, we never give access to them to deal with this.
okay.
That's how it works. Fine, that's all about period statuses we have to understand. Now,
Sir, can you show us like how to restrict that to certain person?
no, that is a customization. I'll take you like when you are working on tables, we'll have one class there. I'll take you custom rows. It is not a simple point to go and show you. Yeah, you have to understand many things.
Sure.
I'll take you through. There is a customization, role customization class. There we will discuss all those points. Fine. Now we can create the transaction in the GL. What are the transactions we create in the GL? Those we call as journals. Create journals. Reality, we don't create transactions in the GL. Okay, we don't create transactions in the GL. Any transactions we create in the respective applications. Payables department transaction we create in the payables. Receivables department related transaction we create in the receivables application. Asset department in the fixed assets. So that's how we create the transactions. After creating all the transactions in the respective application, finally we'll send the data to GL. But in the GL, we have option of creating the transactions that we call as journals, but we no need to create. If you want to pass some adjustment entries, you may use this journal functionality. Otherwise, you no need to create the journals. Okay. So when we are working on GL, we'll discuss more detail level what we can do in the GL, what we cannot do, how that can be managed. Everything we'll discuss. Just to understand about how to create the transaction by using our primary ledger, we are going to see how to create the journal in the GL. Let's see how to create the journal in the GL. When you talk about journal creation, so every journal there will be header information. Okay, journal header information and journal lines. So when you create journal with header and line, automatically by default every journal system will take as a journal batch. Every journal system will take as a one batch. In that one batch, you may create one journal or multiple journal. Every journal what you create, system will take as a batch. Now we'll see how to create it. To create the journals in the GL application, go to Navigator. Under General Accounting, we have a task called as Journals. Click on Journals task. Okay, when we deal with the GL application, we will discuss the different concepts and will work. For now, our focus is to understand how to create the journal. That's all. Click on task list. This you can call as task list or task panel or task pan. Click on this task list. Click on create journal. So here you can see the journal is like how the data is classified, the batch. This is the batch information. Journal batch. The journal batch. This is the journal header information. These are the lines. So here I'm taking example salaries. We are going to pay salaries. I'm taking the batch name as salaries. Who has to pay the salaries? Salaries can be processed by payrolls. We never record anything here directly. And once in payroll application, salaries are processed, that information will come to GL as a journal information. We no need to create any journals for salary payments in the GL, but just for our testing purpose, how to create journal, we are doing this activity. Now you see, automatically system is taking accounting period as August. That is a very latest open period as per our accounting calendar. Okay, it is taking period. And it is fetching our ledger here. So our data access set is created. See, first it will fetch the data access set. This data access set is created against which primer ledger, that primer ledger is displayed. Both are same. By copying the ledger only, this data access set is created. We have access to this data access set. So that data access set is created based on which primer ledger, that primer ledger is showing here. And as per our primer ledger, which currency we have within this USD, that system is selecting automatically. Okay, within this primer ledger, which period is open, latest period, that it is selecting. In this primer ledger, what currency is available, it is selecting. Within this primer ledger, we have chart of accounts. The data you can fetch here. In the chart of accounts, what are the segments we have, all those you can select from here and you can enter the transaction. And accounting method is not applicable in the GL. You have accounting method within this primer ledger, but you cannot use that accounting method within the GL application. That is the reason nowhere it will display that accounting method, not required. So we given the batch name as a salaries. If you don't give this batch name, system can create the batch name automatically. Okay, and give the journal name also. I'm giving journal name also, salaries. If you don't give the journal name, it will take automatically. If you are going to create the journal in the different currency, you can select. All the currencies are available here, which are enabled in this instance. But don't change currency. If you want to record the transaction with other currency, you have to define the rates between those two currencies, exchange rates. Those are the different concepts, scenarios. When we deal with those, we will see those. For now, not required. Leave it. And so where we are creating journal? Source is manual. Manual means GL. When you create journal directly in the GL, system can take the source as a manual. Manual means manually we are creating in GL application. That is the meaning of source manual. What purpose we are creating this journal? That you can give as a category. What purpose we are creating this journal? For the purpose of adjustments. Okay. Say for example, in the payroll application they created, they process salaries with some issue, the data is not reflecting in the GL application. Temporarily, you want to record entry in the GL. That purpose we are creating the journal. Okay, payroll application, you process salaries, that information should come to GL automatically. It is processed, but it's not coming. Some technical issues, some reason it is not coming. Before you get the data from there to here, you want to maintain the same data temporarily within the GL application by using the journal as an adjustment entry. So category, what purpose you are creating the journal, as an adjustment you are creating. Now here you can select. So by default, you can see this as a search field as a closed, you can drag little right. You can see that search field. Click on the search field. In our chart of accounts, we have 3 segments. Accordingly, you can select the values. Okay, you can select GMC Motors, the company. Select department is, say, HR department. And account, what HR department is doing, they are processing the salaries. Say okay. We are paying the salaries. So since we are paying salaries, there is expense. So it's a debit, say 5 lakhs. $5 lakhs. And take cash account. The salaries debit, cash is credit. You can take cash account. See, since this is GL, we are doing like this. When we are recording the transaction, the payables, receivables, fixed assets, you don't need to select all these accounts and this amount should go to debit or this amount should go to credit. Everything system will take care. GL, first of all, we don't record the transactions. This is just for reporting purpose. And whenever we create the transactions in the other application, all other application, the accounts and amount system will take automatically based on the transaction which you are recording. We will see that very soon. So, see, at the time of this segment creation, company, department, all, we given display width as a 30. This is a 30 width. The field width is 30. Okay, this is 30 width. This is what we given at the time of segments creation. Now select same company, same department. Account is, you can take cash account. Okay, so spent expense means salaries and we are paying. Which company? Same company. Okay, I'm giving 5 lakhs. Now, so same company. In the debit and credit, we have to use the same company. Okay, company is our balance and segment. Balance and segment value. 1000 is our balance and segment value. So now what I'm trying to do is, I want to use instead of 1000, 2000 company. As per accounting, in a same transaction, okay, same transaction, the company should get balanced, but I'm taking different. As per balancing rule, if you are recording any transaction, okay, the balance and segment value should be same in the debit and credit as per the balancing rule. I'm taking company 1000 debit, company 2000 credit, means this company is spent and this company is paid. Okay, now click on save. Just click on save this information and click on complete. You don't want to enter any more journals in this. If you want to create one more journal in the same batch, you can click on add and you can create. Now click on submit for post. Once you post it, you cannot update the data and this 5 lakhs will be updated against this account. This 5 lakhs will be updated against this account code combination. That is the meaning of posting. Once you post this journal, one second. If you post this journal, okay, all the information system will freeze. All the information system will freeze. You cannot update anything. These balances will get updated against this code combination. This balance will get updated against this code combination. I'll take your questions. Just give me some time. Okay, this is a point you have to understand. Now I'm submitting for posting. I'm submitting for posting. So what label we assign to account segment, company segment? What is the label we assign?
Balancing.
Primary balance and segment label. Now it will come into the action now. We'll see that. We submitted for posting. Some request is submitted. Say okay. Now see the batch status, the journal. Every journal it will create as a batch. So batch status is selected for posting. If this journal is not posted, there is no use of this journal. The balances will remain as it is. If you go and check with this code combination, it won't display this 5000. It will show 0. That is the reason every journal need to be posted. If journal is not posted, there is no use. The balances cannot be updated with these accounts. Just click on refresh. Here, there is a refresh icon. Click on this refresh and check the batch status. Selected for posting. So for company level, we assign primary balance and segment label. See what it is doing. The journal is not balanced by balance and segment value. Rest you can ignore it. That is a separate concept. The journal is not balanced by balance and segment values. So every journal should be balanced with the debits and credits with the same balance and segment value. Otherwise, this data you cannot use for accounting or reporting purpose. So that is a rule. In every transaction, the balance and segment values need to be balanced. Debit and credit should be same. So who is enforcing the rule? Primary balance and segment label, what we assign to company. So to company, we assign primary balance and segment label. That means in the debit and credit, company should be same. If in every transaction, debit and the credits are not same for the same balance and segment value, that is meaningless information in the transaction. So to balance, to make sure that in every transaction, the companies, what level you want to prepare the report, that level debit and credit value should be same in every transaction. To enforce the rule, we assign primary balance and segment label. Okay, because of the primary balance and segment label is verified. The company values are same in the debit or credit. If company value is not same, it won't allow to post. You see, this journal cannot be posted. Now it's not posted. If debit and credits are equal to same, debit is equal to credit for the same balance and segment value, it will allow. Why debit accounts, debit company should be equal to credit company? You want to generate the reports at company level only. So that is the reason these two should be same. That can be enforced by primary balance and segment label. This rule can be enforced by primary balance and segment label. Now what I'll do is we'll go and update this debit company and credit company as same, so that it will post, allow us to post. Cancel this. Go to task list. Click on manage journals. Click on search. Within this August month, any journals are available in the GL, it will display. Only one we created. Click on search. The journal is displayed. The status is the journal is not balanced by balance and segment values. Select this journal. Click on edit. Now change the balance and segment value. Debit balance and segment value should be equal to credit balance and segment value. Our primary balance and segment label is watching all this, whether same or not. If same, it will allow for posting, not same, it will stop. Now debit company is equal to credit company. Debit balance and segment value is equal to credit balance and segment value. It will allow us to post. But here what I'm doing is I'm changing the amount. The debit I given 5,000, credit 6,000. Okay, 5 lakhs and 6 lakhs. I'll save it. I'll post it. It is showing already is giving the message not equal, but still with the force I am going to submit for posting. Submit for posting. Okay, still it is giving message, no issue. Still I am trying to post it. Submit it. Now refresh. Okay, the debit balance and segment value is equal to credit balance and segment value. That's what primary balance and segment label can check. Refresh. Selected for posting. Again, the primary balance and segment value will verify that debit amount is equal to credit amount or not. If equal, then only it will allow us to post. Otherwise, our primary balance and segment label will stop this process. Now see. The journal is unbalanced. Rest is separate concept. This is what you have to understand. This journal is unbalanced. The journal is not getting balanced. Okay. the journal should get balanced with the debit and credit with the same balance and segment value and with the same amounts. If it's not balancing, you cannot post it. So this you have to update the amounts, then system will allow you to post. Who is looking after all these points? Who is stopping us? Primary balance and segment label. That is the purpose we have to assign primary balance and segment label to company segment, so that it will make sure that the same company level amounts are getting balanced or not, if the debit and credits are equal or not. With the same balance and segment value, debits and credits are creating a. Here. Refresh this page. Search. Click on this journal name. Now correct it to 5 lakhs. See, if you are paying salaries, why do you use 6 lakhs? 5 lakhs only you have to use. 5 lakhs salaries to pay, why 6 lakhs you have to use? Save it. Save it. See, company 1,000 has to pay the salaries, means company 1,000 has to pay. Why other company will pay? No, other companies, if they are going to pay, that is internal transaction, that is intercompany, that's a different scenario. Okay, so a company 1,000 purchase from supplier, company 1,000 will pay. That is a standard business process. When company 1,000 is purchasing, company 2,000 is going to pay, that's a different transaction. The standard process, if I am buying something, I have to pay. Okay, that's how the transaction need to be recorded. Now, the balance and segment value same in the debit and credit, and the debit amount is equal to credit amount. If both are matching in every transaction, the debit and credit balance and segment values are same, and debit amount is equal to credit amount, then only our primary balance and segment label allows us to process the transaction. Processing is nothing but posting. Now save it and click on post. Say okay. Batch status is selected for posting. Refresh. Just wait for a moment. We'll update the status as a posted. So everything is fine in this journal. Okay, balance primary, the debit and credit balance and segment values are same, and amounts also matching. This journal can be posted. Now you see the status posted. Now you cannot touch this journal. You cannot do anything. It's everything is finalized, freezed. You cannot do anything. Okay. So this video also I'll place in the YouTube itself. From tomorrow, what are the videos we are going to have, like sessions we are going to have, with everything I'll move into Google Drive. From tomorrow, after completing session, within 30 minutes, I'll place the videos in the Google Drive. Okay. So this video I may just upload in the YouTube by afternoon. I have to edit, I have to compress. There are many activities. It takes time. So we're done for today. If you have any questions, you can stay back and we can discuss. No further discussions from my end. Thank you all. See you tomorrow, same time. So we posted and everything is good.
One question, sir.
Please.
So we were logged the previous month and general entries will be possible for adjustment entries.
What is that?
General entries will be possible for the adjustments.
Yeah, in GL, that is a purpose we use journal entries.
Once we log the amount, we can reopen and can make the adjustment of previous month.
Okay, previous month journals you are talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, you cannot do that. Once you see, now the period is, August period is open, right?
Okay.
I posted. Posted is freezed.
Okay.
Current month only I am not able to do. How come I can do for past period?
Okay.
If you think something wrong in this journal, what you do is you can reverse it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, reverse entry. Okay.
You can
Got
reverse
it.
it.
Got
Okay.
it. Got
We will
it.
see all those in the GL application concepts.
Right. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Any questions?
Yeah, if the generally first line is a debit and second line is credit. So first line is a company account, or second is a customer account, right?
Sorry.
The debit 5 lakh account 10020033330. It's a company account, right?
No. This is account, salaries account.
Or second account, customer account where the salary is credited.
See, I'm creating entry like salaries account debit and cash account is credit. That is done by which company I'm selecting. No, see, this is what we recorded. What is your question?
My question is that first account is the company account, the second account is the where the amount is credited, is the customer account.
No. With this code combination, you can find this amount in the system.
Okay.
Okay, or else by ignoring company and department, if you go and check, okay, with this account, you can find this amount. I'm sorry, like, what is exactly your doubt? Here we recorded in this company, this department is paying salaries. How much? 5 lakhs. So paid or not? It's paid. So we are showing the same company, same department, paid salaries by using the Citibank account. That's what we are just making a note as adjustment.
Sir, it's better to explain the journal, golden rule before posting any entries. Like a few are there without commerce background.
Yes. That's different. Like, yeah, somebody is not aware of accounting. Anyway, that is the reason I said this is how we are not going to pass the entries when we are going to record actual transactions. The system will take automatically. There you can understand how it is taking and from where it is taking, that everything I'll explain. Now, just how to pass the journal entry, try to understand. So you don't need to look into that accounting, how it takes place in which business scenario, which accounts and all. Yeah, somebody suggested, yes, if somebody is not aware of debit and credits, you can go through golden rules in accounting. You can search in the Google golden rules in accounting. There will be information like which you have to take as a debit, which should goes to credit. There will be simple information, you can go through it if you are not aware of accounting. But still, if you are not okay, no issues. Once we start with the payables, receivables, we'll come to know all those points.
Sir, like this Dilip here, my doubt is like you said like suppose the company debit side we have given the different company and credit side we have given a different company. So will it be not a intercompany transaction?
That will become intercompany transaction. That is not a regular business transaction.
So like the first transaction you post to 1000 and said the second transaction, second line item you post 2000 company. So it's look like a intercompany transaction, right?
Intercompany, yes, that is intercompany. Where
so, and why it's not posting, sir, like intercompany transactions?
See, that scenarios, if you have that, you have to enable in the system. The regular scenario, it is not true, right?
Okay.
That's what. That is the reason.
Oh, so intercompany is not enabled. That's why it's not posting.
No. You have to tell to the system. In our company, we may record the intercompany transactions also. Please allow. If you tell to the system, it will allow.
Okay, sir. So
that you have to do the setup.
Yeah, sure. Got it.
Yes. Fine. Any questions from anyone, please? Please.
LAXMAN, I had one question, but not related to Fusion Financial Functional. Just one generic question.
Yeah.
If we are a technical developer, in EBS we used to use Toad or SQL developer to access the database table. In Fusion, what is is there a third-party tool which can be connected for pass?
No, not third-party tool. Directly you can access from the environment. Here, what you can do is you can go to tools. You can go to reports analytics.
That is a BI publisher, right?
Yeah, from BI only you can write the queries. There only they.
Yeah, but there is nothing else we can connect to database.
Yeah, no. By default, no. I heard that some companies developed some tools and all, but from Oracle side, nothing.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Hello.
Yeah, please. Any questions? Seems to no questions. If no questions, that's all for today. We'll connect tomorrow, same time. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.